A wee mo way, 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 a wee mo way. In the championships, the mighty championships, NRG sleeps tonight. And in the championships, the mighty championships, Justin might not wake up in time, singing woo. So I hope you like that little jingle I put together. The point of it was to communicate the fact that in these North American Championships, NRG hasn't played yet. G2's played 2 series, so they're hot, so they're coming in hot. So we'll see. You know, kind of trying to set the tone for this series. And this series, if you're not up to speed, is NRG versus G2. This, again, is the North American Championship Semifinals. Format is a best of 3 of best of 7, so first team to win 2 best of 7s wins means we could have up to 21 games in this series, which is crazy. It's going to be a banger. I hope you're excited. Let's hop into it on this episode of the Pufl Recap. Oopsies, this rookie content creator forgot to write this into the intro script. Button, hit 'em. Thank you. Series 1 between G2 and NRG, peak Rocket League. I mean, this is what we love to see on the biggest stage in the world. Went to 7 games. NRG takes the victory. And frankly, in series that go to 7 games, I like to give the MVP of that series to the coach for keeping his players locked in and focused. So I'm giving the MVP of this series to Sizz. Oh, yeah, what's that? Oh, Sizz is banned from coaching in the semifinals. Wow, why is that? What happened? Oh. Okay, yeah. So let me get this straight. So he called, right? Okay, yeah. So he called the company that gave him everything Brainless Monkeys, right? And he also told that said company to take their headquarters and shove it up his rectum. Okay. Well, I mean, that's not too bad, right? Game 1 was an absolute onslaught of offense from NRG. Even with G2 striking first on a nice goal from Drees, NRG maintained and abused their pressure for the entirety of this game. NRG finally wears down the defense and strikes first with a Justin pass to Garrett, and then NRG solidifies the victory with an absolute banger from Garrett. The man turned into a glorified slot machine with this shot. G2 had some last-second heroics, but were not able to grab a goal before the ball hit the ground, giving NRG the Game 1 win. NRG finished with a whopping total of 18 shots in Game 1. Game 2 was a complete reversal from Game 1, where G2 racked up 14 shots to NRG's 5. Drees strikes first with an absolute slot bottom left, and besides an unfortunate mistouch from JNaps that puts NRG on the board late, G2 played a nearly perfect game. And they were rewarded with a scoring chance right off the start of overtime. Drees makes a great play over the defense, and JNaps finishes the shot to give G2 the Game 2 victory. Game 3 was the highest scoring game of the entire series, with both teams trading blows back and forth. G2 ran the show this game with their first showcase of extreme physicality on offense in transition. G2 will continue to use this strategy to frustrate NRG. I think they noticed how effective it was in Game 3 and focused on demos for the rest of the games this afternoon. Unfortunately for them, NRG is able to tie the game up late at 3-3 because of a team bump by G2 in net. Gotta watch out for those. The game goes to overtime, and then Drees scores with what I call the Drees Classic, which is a 50 from the corner into the net of NRG, ending Game 3 in G2's favor. Game 4 was NRG's most dominant game of the series. They managed to dodge many of G2's demos, and they executed their offense incredibly efficiently. Garrett absolutely popped off, going 3 for 3 shooting and having this miraculous assist where he doubles the ball off of the sidewall, leading to a crisp, clean double from Squishy off the back wall. Textbook game from NRG. They take Game 4. The start of Game 5 looked like a continuation of NRG's domination from Game 4, as Garrett reads his own touch off the ceiling to get NRG on the board. However, there was a brief pause in this game and G2 took over after things reset. Game 5 exposed the reality that NRG's offense had slowed down significantly since Game 1, and they were now relying on more solo plays instead of peppering the net and holding constant pressure. JNaps scores the winning goal of Game 5 with an incredible change-up / fake thingy to throw off the back wall defense. It was a great shot. Game 6 was an absolute beauty. A must-win situation for NRG, and Justin lets us know right away he knows that, with this expert power slide shot to give NRG the first goal. G2 bounced back immediately after a defensive breakdown from NRG, but going into the final minute, NRG find themselves down by 1 until Justin drops this brilliant pass over to Garrett, who fakes the pass middle and goes for the shot instead. Game 6 goes to overtime, tied up at 2-2, and NRG stays alive in the series, taking Game 6 as Squishy manhandles Chicago on a midfield 50. Game 7 in the first series? What more could we possibly ask for? Justin gets the scoring started early for NRG with an absolute ripper, but Garrett tops him with this.
You know, they make G2 feel less confident in the approach, and NRG manipulating that timing so well. And there it is, Garrett G gets the redirect, takes it away from the goalie the second time in this series.
This guy's a beast. What a series, Garrett G. Look at that touch. He's done it all. He's done it all this series.
G2 find life with a clean dribble from Chicago in the final minute of Game 7, but Garrett G's incredible heroic in net ends up being the winning goal of Game 7, as NRG take the series over G2 4-3. With NRG taking that first series, the ball is now in G2's court. They want to stay alive, they have to win, and in the second series they do. They take the series to 6 games and they win 4-2, and Twitch chat didn't even have time to start spamming, "You should have kept Rizzo, he wasn't that old, he was still in his prime." And honestly, series 2 was absolutely defined by G2's physicality. It was almost like they missed NRG and they just wanted to give him a hug, but the hug was really explosive and it very much frustrated NRG. They just kept bumping and bumping and bumping, and NRG went down in 6 games. So let's break down that physicality and more as we hop into Game 1. NRG keep the highlight reel plays coming in Game 1 of the second series as Squishy gets an absolute banger shot from the ceiling, and Garrett says, "Oh, wait a minute, you didn't forget about me, did you?" and matches him with a brilliant flip reset double touch. G2 strikes back with a classic 3-man passing play, but I think it's important to note that NRG's 2 highlight reel plays were their only shots this entire game. NRG absolutely yoinks Game 1 from G2. Demos. G2 picked up their physicality in Game 2 and set the trend for the rest of the series with 9 demos in this one. Game 2 was another exciting back and forth similar to Game 3 of the first series. G2 took that same 3-1 lead they had in Game 3 of the first series and, of course, magically found a way to let it all slip away, culminating in an incredible 1-second goal from Squishy to bring the game to a 3-3 overtime. But as has been the theme in this match between NRG and G2, Chicago finds a way to end the overtime basically as soon as it starts with an incredible slot, giving G2 the victory in Game 2. After a high-scoring Game 2, Game 3 was quiet on both ends. NRG did a great job focusing on cutting off all of G2's midfield passing opportunities, and because of it, G2 could not put a goal in the back of the net. NRG wins Game 3 off a well-executed passing play between Squishy and Garrett. G2 did not seem to be very happy to be shut out in Game 3. Chicago gets the scoring started early for G2, and after that, it was a blowout. NRG gets a consolation goal early off of a slot from Justin, but G2 just dominated the pitch this game. Even with incredible defensive stands from NRG, G2's pressure was overwhelming, and they manhandled NRG in Game 4. With the series tied at 2-2, Game 5 was sure to be an important one. Turned out to be an incredibly competitive overtime game that broke the trend of overtimes being over within the first 20 seconds. NRG jumped out to an early 2-goal lead off of 2 great shots from Garrett. Another great game for Garrett as he continued his reign of terror in this series, being NRG's brightest spot for sure. but G2 crawled back into the game and tied it up with 27 seconds left in regulation. NRG dominated in overtime, but unfortunately for them, G2 did what G2 does best, scoring on a beautiful midfield passing play. NRG looked deflated after another overtime loss, and Dries took full advantage of that in Game 6, shooting his way to a hat trick and proving that he was filling the shoes of Rizzo just fine. It just felt like Dries was exactly where he needed to be at all times, and he capitalized on the defensive mistakes from NRG with ease. G2 stays alive in this match and wins Series 2, 4-2. After G2 won the second series of the match, Justin took to Twitter to let us all know that he thought he was poo. However, the NRG boys bounce back and win Series 3 in 6 games, taking the series 4-2 and winning the match, qualifying for the North American Championship Finals. There were some incredible heroics in this series, including, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it, in my opinion, the best save in RLCS history from Garrett G at the end of Game 3. I mean, this is incredible. So let's take a look at some of those heroics as we hop into Game 1. Game 1 of Series 3 was tense. NRG come out of the gate quickly punishing G2 for some defensive breakdowns and scored 2 quick goals. But G2 bounced back immediately as JNeps drops a perfect pass down to Chicago. But this Chicago goal was the last goal of Game 1, because after this we watched on the edge of our seat as save after save came in. NRG end up hanging on to their 1-goal lead and taking Game 1. Continuing the trend of this series, whenever G2 feels like they were shut down, they come out swinging and absolutely dominate Game 2. Fun fact for you, G2 won every Game 2 in this match, but that makes sense, right? Game 2, G2, you get it. NRG limps away with 1 goal on the board after this squishy banger, but G2's physicality and immaculate shooting gave NRG no chance. G2 takes Game 2. I will never forget the end of Game 3 of this series. Game 3 started out as another back and forth contest with Dries striking first and then Garrett returning the favor. But NRG end up taking the lead with 58 seconds left in regulation off a Justin kickoff goal. And then this happened.
5 seconds left. Dries not able to make contact. Chicago in his own corner. The ball's moving the wrong way for G2. Keep it alive here. Dries down the field. Chicago's just got to get it to Dries. There's one player in the way. They're causing chaos, and he'll just take the shot himself. NRG off the one working out. No way. NRG survived.
Let's see that one more time. And also pay attention to all 6 reactions from the players. Crazy moment on the biggest stage from Garrett G. Man is a beast. The Game 4 scoreline would communicate that NRG dominated this game, but honestly it was the other way around. G2 maintained pressure for most of this game, but NRG held on and took a 2-goal win in Game 4, putting NRG on match point with a 3-1 series lead. G2 has to win the next 3 games in a row to secure a victory in this series, but they start that journey out strong with a good Game 5. It was G2's lead all game until Justin hits an absolute ripper off of a Garrett G pass, tying the game up with 19 seconds left. But G2's overtime prowess continues as Chicago gets the goal in overtime, securing Game 5 for G2. We're going to Game 6. Nothing more you could ask for as another elimination game goes to overtime. Chicago hits a banger double early and Justin fights back with this great air dribble over all the defense that Garrett G cleans up. The game is tied 1-1 and heads to overtime, and then NRG flips the script and pulls a Dries classic on G2, 50ing the ball into the G2 net and winning the series. I think Imagine Wagons from my Twitch chat put it best. Electric series with a total cringer ending. This series between NRG and G2 lasted 19 games and over 101 minutes. making it the longest series in the history of the RLCS. But NRG, they fight off the fatigue, they take the series win, and they are the first team to qualify for the North American Championship. Tomorrow we'll be finding out who will join them between SSG or Envy, but until then, I've been Pufl. This has been your Pufl Recap. Thank you so much for watching. Awee moe, awee moe, awee moe, awee moe, awee moe, awee moe, awee moe.